Stay on your bat sofa now, because coming up next, it's Batman the Brave and the Bold on Cartoon Network. Coming up next, saving Vestroya one episode at a time. It's Bakugan Battle Brawlers. Bakugan Brawl. Coming up next, it's Bakugan New Vestroya on Cartoon Network. It's Hero Time next on Cartoon Network with our favorite alien fighting hero, Ben 10. Ben, Gwen and Kevin are ready for action. Coming up next on Cartoon Network, it's Ben 10 Alien Force. One dog plus one squirrel equals lots of fun. Coming up next on Cartoon Network, it's Best Ed. It's never boring in Camp Kidney, so let's go there. Up next on Cartoon Network, it's Camp Laszlo. Coming up next on Cartoon Network, multiple cartoon goodness in Cartoon Toon Toon. You don't want to mess with these chickens. Coming up next, it's Chop Socky Chooks on Cartoon Network. Hope you're hungry, because coming up next, it's another delicious episode of Chowder, right here on Cartoon Network.
По Cartoon Network следва Фантастичната четворка.
His imagination knows no boundaries. Elliot Kid, up next on Cartoon Network. Can you imagine? You don't have an imaginary friend? Don't worry, we have loads in Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends next on Cartoon Network. Up next, we're taking a trip to the Hidden Kingdom to see Hero 108, right here on Cartoon Network. Coming up next on Cartoon Network, it's Juniper Lee. Coming up next on Cartoon Network, loads of old school cartoon fun with the Looney Tunes. Ahoy, sailors! Coming up next on Cartoon Network, it's the marvelous misadventures of Flapjack. This channel is like a circus sometimes. Coming up next, my gym partner's a monkey. It's hard not to love him. Coming up next on Cartoon Network, it's Robot Boy. Moshi Moshi! Up next, we're off to Japan to visit Samurai Jack, only on Cartoon Network. Fetch, sit, roll over, good boy! Coming up next on Cartoon Network, it's Scooby-Doo! Coming up next on Cartoon Network, it's another adventure with the Secret Saturdays. Coming up next on Cartoon Network, it's Kung Fu! Phew, I can smell him already. The Force will be with you. In Star Wars, The Clone Wars. That's next on Cartoon Network. They fight like a cat and a dog, but they're a cat and a mouse. Coming up next on Cartoon Network, it's Tom and Jerry. Lights, camera, total drama action. That's up next on Cartoon Network.
Coming up next, it's another great movie on Cartoon Network Cinema.
Hero 108 is coming up next on Cartoon Network. There's even more regular show up next on Cartoon Network. Oh yeah. There's a brand new show coming up for you on Cartoon Network. The awesome Transformer... Skatoony, the game show where kids take on toons, is up next on Cartoon Network. He's afraid of everything, but he's still a hero. Courage the Cowardly Dog is up next on Cartoon Network. They're the funniest farm animals I know. Cow and Chicken is up next on Cartoon Network. The Fantastic Four are coming up next on Cartoon Network. Now, why is only one of them called Mr. Fantastic? Next up on Cartoon Network, two twins I can never seem to tell apart. It's the Cramp Twins. Brand new Angelo Rules is up next, right here on Cartoon Network. I hope you're not feeling seasick. There's even more of the marvelous misadventures of Flapjack next up on Cartoon Network. Next up on Cartoon Network, it's everybody's favorite bear, rabbit, cat thing. It's Chowder. Adventure Time continues next on Cartoon Network. The crazy experiments continue next up on Cartoon Network with even more Johnny Test. There's a brand new show coming up for you on Cartoon Network, the awesome Transformers.
Join Grim and the gang in the grim adventures of Billy and Mandy, next on Cartoon Network. Ed, and Eddie is up next on Cartoon Network.